What's up guys, it is manga time once again and I'm here today to bring you my review of Bleach 622, The Agony. Unfortunately there's not actually as much agony as I'd have liked in this chapter, and that's pretty much my principal issue with the chapter. But on the whole actually this chapter was quite good, it was quite enjoyable, especially for an Aizen fan like myself. So it starts off with the strange little eyeball creatures exploding under the pressure of Aizen's Reiatsu. And Renji and Rukia are kind of like, no way, you're Aizen, and it's just like, and he gives them, the typical Aizen glare. And I do like how he's sitting there on his chair like it's a throne. It's a really nice kind of imagery. Even though he's the one imprisoned, he's the one being scrutinized, he's still managed to be on this throne. That's a really nice little thing going on there. And then we have this nice bit of character interaction where he's like, oh, long time no see, Rukia, although I don't remember actually speaking to you much after I left the Gotei and tried to kill her, though he conveniently doesn't mention that. He then says, congratulations on getting your promotion. It's great they're finally acknowledging your services. Basically, Byakuya just finally let her become a lieutenant. But Aizen is right. It is good that Rukia finally is a lieutenant. And it's kind of nice because it's actually kind of nice because obviously Aizen hasn't been around since before the time skip. So he represents an older age of Bleach, and he's now meeting the characters as they are now. It's kind of nice to catch up, as it were. And Rukia is understandably pissed off that he's out, and she's like, you should have been locked up. What the hell are you doing here? And I love Aizen's blasé. He's just like, they let me go, even though that's technically not true. But it is great. And then she's like, who's doing this? And then Shunsui's like, it was me. And this is nice because this is really good actually because at least in this chapter, Shunsui isn't let off the hook. Everyone is pissed and it carries over. So everyone's really shocked, obviously, and Shunsui anticipates this, and he's like, I'm sure you'll ask me to explain myself, but we need his powers. And everyone steps up and goes, what are you doing? Hisagi's like, is this a good idea? Ikaku's like, I don't agree with this. And Yumechika's like, yeah, I can't forget about everything he's done to us, Aizen. Shunsui, sorry. And then Soifon's like, you just don't know any shame, but thankfully Soifon should shut up, because she doesn't know any shame either, especially since when she was shouting at the Royal Guard. But, And then Byakuya remains quiet, which I think was interesting. But then Byakuya comes out with quite a powerful statement later on, actually. But anyway, Shinsui's just such a good character. He basically silences everyone in a couple of sentences. He's such a good talker. He makes everyone's issues seem so menial. He just turns around and he's like, okay, all this is it's just a matter of pride, isn't it? And then he's like, well, let's just talk about the Gotei. And he's like, pride won't save the world. We need to fight evil with another kind of evil. I don't think I'm evil, so where does that put us? Basically, he's saying, because he doesn't think he's evil at least, he's not strong enough to defeat Yahava. He's not the right type of person to help them defeat Yahava. Aizen is, however. And I like this because one of the complaints about the recent few chapters is that everyone in the Gotei has kind of been acting a bit blasé, like this isn't really the end of the world. They just haven't really been, there's not been a sense of urgency. But then Shunsui steps up and he's all about just getting things done, and it's really refreshing to have someone stand there and go, look, all your bullshit pride, we don't need that, we need action. And it's good to get that, finally. And he just shuts everyone up. And then Aizen's just like, well, looks like that discussion's over. So I thought that was quite funny. But he then turns to Shunsui and he's like, well, time to let me go, I think. And Shunsui's like, I can't do that. And we get this another back and forth now. And Shunsui's just so cool, and Aizen's so cool, and they have such great dialogue together. And Shinsui's like, I told you I can only undo 3 of your seals. Which is weird, because Aizen definitely got out earlier when he was actually in Muken. So I'm not sure why he didn't just do the same thing again. But then, yeah, so Aizen's like, so you're telling me to deal with all of this in a chair? And then Shinsui's like, I'm sure you'll think of something. And it's just really great. They have such a good little interaction. Aizen then says, I don't have the power to do anything about my situation. But basically Shunsui calls him out, that's bollocks. He's like, I watched as these little eyeball things chewed you up. Don't even tell me you haven't done something about this. Suddenly, loads of these eyeball guys come flying down from the black net that is now surrounding the Shakonmaku, which, if I'm honest, was not portrayed very well. I've only really just started to understand what the hell's actually going on as far as that's concerned. But yeah, so all these monsters start flying down towards Aizen, and yes, this is a great page because he's kind of like, you're making things hard for me, but he's kind of like joking. And Shinsui's like, oh, you're very welcome. But then he like realizes that Aizen's about to do something, so he's like, everyone get away. Aizen then uses Hado 90 Kurohitsuji, which is awesome. Another double page spread for Kurohitsuji, and it like just eradicates everything basically. And it's just as massive as it was when he fought Ichigo. Well, actually, the Kurohitsuji looks the same as when he did it against Ichigo. But this time he doesn't use an incantation, so one can only imagine he has gotten stronger still, which is insane, really, when you think about it. I'm not entirely sure what the next picture is. I don't know. It looks like it's either coming out of the top of that building or that's just showing you the inside of the building. It's hard to say either way. But yeah, I think it's kind of funny how the Kurohitsuji is like over in 2 pages. But then Shunsui is like watching it go, and then Byakuya comes in and he's like, do you understand, Kyoraku, that your freeing of Aizen has insulted us all? And like, I like that because it's like a final statement, because then Shunsui says no more on the matter. He's like, Shunsui realizes that he's pissed everyone off and this might be going too far, but everyone has kind of been like, well, maybe he's right, maybe we do need him, but at the same time this is bullshit. So, and then Shinsui's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, you can beat me up as much as you like later, but let me protect the Seirei for now. So again, he's doing what needs to be done. He's not dealing with any of this pride bull crap. Before I move on, this bugs me, and it bugs the hell out of me in this chapter. First of all, there are some serious interactions that are missing in this chapter. Shunsui rocks up and doesn't even bat an eyelid at the fact that his best friend is emaciated, possibly dead, in this water. Ukitake is just lying there. I mean, I guess Shunsui might be one of these people that's like, well, we both knew what he was getting into, sort of thing. But, I mean, you know, I still think Kubo would give us like a panel of just Shunsui maybe looking down at him, even if he doesn't talk to Ukitake. So that's a bit odd, I think. But, I mean, like I said, again, Shinsui's very pragmatic. He's very all business, you know, so he's kind of like, I can kind of buy Shunsui being like, well, he knew what he was getting into. However, the other character reactions that are more unforgivable, that they just don't even happen, is Shinji and Urahara. Don't even bat an eyelid at the fact that Aizen comes back. And that is plain bollocks. We get this one panel of Shinji here, and he kind of looks off to the side, and it's like, are you having a laugh? Like, Shinji was Aizen's captain 100 years ago, and he was the first one to be properly betrayed by Aizen, and, you know, went through all that turmoil of becoming a Vizard, and then, when it obviously came back, he was in exile from Soul Society, then he comes back, Aizen still fucks with him. Finally, Shinji gets, like, his recompense. Aizen is locked away, and that's like, everything's hunky-dory. Aizen's back, and Shinji does nothing but kind of just look off to the side. Like, you can't be serious. And Shinji's a loudmouth character. Like, I can kind of buy that Shinji... The fact that Shinji's a loudmouth character is being nicely juxtaposed by the fact he's now being quiet. That does show that he has got some thoughts on the matter, but you can't... Hiyori, then. Why isn't Hiyori saying anything? Like, she was just as angry at Aizen. Like, he made her flip the fuck out in the Fate Kurakuran arc, and then she got cut in half as a result. But literally no one of any merit is actually saying anything about Aizen coming back. Shinji, you know, says absolutely nothing. You think he would actually... He doesn't even seem to question why Aizen's been freed. And the same goes for Urahara, who is, like, Aizen's rival, and he's, like, obviously afraid of Aizen. He knows what Aizen can do. The only reason I think these two might have not said anything is they know. They understand. Like, they're on Shinsui's level. They might have been like, yeah, okay, we probably need him. But still, I feel like we should have got something out of them. The only reason this might have not happened now is because they might speak to Aizen on their own, maybe a bit later or something like that. That would be... I could deal with that. That'd be cool. So, yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that Shinji and Urahara said absolutely nothing. Well, Urahara says something in a second, but it's not really anything important. But this is a nice panel. As the Kurohitsuji disappears, we realise the building they were in is, like, destroyed, I think. I think the building's destroyed? Yeah, it is. The building is destroyed. which is it's great because he's basically flattened the entire building. And yeah, they all jump out. Actually, no, wait. See, now this is confusing me. There's a hole in the ground, but I could have sworn that hole was the ceiling in the building. So why are they now... It looks like they're all jumping out of this hole. So that's a bit confusing. But anyway, yeah, so Hisagi's like, wow, what power? There's none of those monsters left. And then Urahara's like, that's what his powers are like. It could be that his powers have even grown from the time he fought Kurosaki. Which I know some of us actually kind of did theorize that might have happened. Judging by the fact that he was able to alter Yuhava's senses without even doing anything. Without even supposedly having Kyokusui Getsu. So that's interesting. Renji's like, Christ, he got even stronger while he was trapped in Muken. That sucks. Especially since Renji was, when he was fighting Jack, he was like, I've been trained to fight Aizen. Tough break, Renji. Aizen didn't need to train to get stronger. But, this is funny, because Aizen basically, he wasn't trying to save himself from the monsters, he was just trying to break out of his chair. And he's like, to think they could survive a direct attack from my Kurohitsugi, this is one good chair. And then Renji, like, he did all that on purpose. And then Soifon decides to be all action again, which, like I said, is good. It's good. So I actually give Soifon props for this, props for actually doing something. She then gets out Jakuhu Raikeben again, somehow. Like, I don't know where she's getting all this Reiatsu from, because she even, like, says that she can't use it very often. That's, like, what, 3 times already in this, like, second little fight? But, admittedly, she hasn't fired it, so I don't know if that means anything. But yeah, she then decides to like, aim her missile up, and she's like, I'm going to break the black net. Aizen then says you don't have to do that, and this is cool. Because Aizen's like, my Kurohitsugi actually put cracks in that net above us, and so, when I use my Reiatsu, the whole thing's going to come crumbling down. Then Aizen starts to do his Reiatsu shit, and it starts to, like, burst the doorway that they created to go to the Royal Realm, and Rukia's like, Aizen, if you do that, we can't get to the Royal Realm. And so Aizen's like, you don't need the door. And then he says there's a hole in the wall of the Soul King Palace. And presumably, I think he means that's the hole that Ichigo created when he arrived. So I guess it's been less than an hour. That's crazy. But we then get this cool picture of Aizen when he's like doing an evil smile. And he basically says, if you've got some business at the King's Palace, at least let me set the roads for you. I think alternate translations say things like, at least let me help you get there, or something like that. That seems like, to me, that Aizen's being, like, very goody-goody. I wasn't expecting him to be so helpful. He's very clearly got his own agenda. There's no way he would just be letting them get to the palace without there being anything in it for him. How he's going to let them get to the palace, I have absolutely no idea. If we're going to find out another way of getting to the palace, that'd be crazy. Or if, like... Now, I'll tell you what would be crazy. If he, like, created a king's key out of all the souls of everyone that was suddenly there, that would be mental. That's not going to happen. But, so yeah, like, that's the end of the chapter. And it was a good chapter. It was a good chapter. I'm going to drop an 8 out of this chapter. Purely because it was missing the interactions that I was most looking forward to and most hoping for, and it was a bit short. There wasn't much progression again. So that kind of sucks. But it was a step up from last week. Seeing Aizen is always epic, and, he's such a scene stealer in pretty much every scene he's in. In fact, he and Kyoraku have, like, an amazing dynamic. But yeah, like I said, there just wasn't enough really in it for me, and I missed it missed the big interactions that I wanted. I thought this whole chapter was going to be about everyone's reaction to Aizen, and for the most part it was, and for the most part it was good, but it just wasn't what I wanted specifically. Why didn't Shinji say anything? Why didn't Urahara say anything? Why didn't Shunsui look at Yukitake? Those sort of things that I felt were missing just for the intimate character moments. However, on the other side of things, it was cool, and it looks like they might finally be going to the palace soon, but I kind of wasn't expecting that, because unless Ichigo's going to land before they leave, and then they all go up again, but it's very back and forth, and that's a bit weird, to be honest, but, whatever, we'll have to make do. Like I said before, I think Aizen's got his own agenda. I think Aizen could end up being the final villain, but at the same time, there's just as good an argument for him just being like an anti-hero now, just kind of being on their side, but begrudgingly. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So far, I'm enjoying it, so we'll see what else Aizen has in store. But that's pretty much it for this week, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this week's chapter. That'd be super great. Do you like Aizen coming back? Do you like the role it seems like he's playing? What did you think about the character interactions? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, guys, give the video a thumbs up and a subscribe. I'd super appreciate the help. But until next week, guys, catch you later.